What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. And first of all, let me start out by apologizing for how sexy and raspy my voice sounds. Everybody, please control yourself. Son of a gun, I wish I could sound like this all the time. I'm like smoke over a candle flame right now. We're going to do something here at Baz on Blades that I genuinely hate to do. And I think this is only going to be the third or fourth video out of about 500 on my channel where I'm going to absolutely not recommend a product. I hate doing that for many different reasons, because I want to see these products succeed. I want to see the designers succeed, but we can't get them all right. And today I am going to show you how small design decisions can negatively impact your final product. So you've already seen the title to this video. What we've got here today is the Twosun knives TS434. Of course, I did pick this up from White Mountain Knives, Justin at White Mountain Knives, the only place I buy Twosun product. Justin always takes care of me, so please check out White Mountain Knives. The price on this is on the lower side for a titanium frame lock. These were $55.99. And the price really doesn't matter. They're out of stock right now, and I am not recommending you purchase this knife anyway. If you take into account on that $55.99 price point, you take in another 10% off with any of the various 10% discount codes available over at White Mountain Knives, you're down at $50.39, which is a very low price for this much knife in these materials. Even if I don't recommend the knife, I still say that price point for what it is, material-wise, fit and finish-wise, is very good. Just design decisions that kill this knife. So this is a very large knife. You're looking at a 4.5-inch blade length. That's about 11.5 centimeters. The blade width is 1.3 inches or 33 millimeters. Your blade stock thickness, 193 thousandths of an inch or 4.9 millimeters. Heavy duty blade stock thickness. Your handle length is 5.25 inches overall. That's 13 centimeters. The handle width at the widest point here at the forward tip, at the pivot end, you're looking at 1.3 inches. In the middle, it's 1.05 inches. And then in metric, that is 32 millimeters and 27 millimeters respective. Handle thickness, it's a chunky little guy, 760 thousandths of an inch, over 3/4 of an inch, and 19.3 millimeters for you metric people. Overall length, 9 3/4 of an inch or 24.5 centimeters. Behind the edge thickness, very good for a blade that is nearly 5 millimeters thick. It is 16 thousandths behind the edge, but we will talk about that a little more when we talk about the blade steel. I did not get the weight for some reason, but it's big and it's heavy. Damn it, I'm gonna have to get the damn. All right. See, I hate doing videos like this, so I damn purposefully forgot something to self-sabotage. Oh my God, like a damn woman. Self-sabotage. And here we go. 6.74 ounces. And that is 191 grams. So he's a chunky monkey. There we go. Did not count on that. Another thing that we're going to have to talk about later on in the review is the blade to handle ratio, which I think is the best that I've ever measured on a folding knife. It is 0.857. 0.857, and there is two major reasons for that. One is fantastic, one is terrible, and is one of the reasons I do not recommend this knife. So It's a big knife overall, and that's okay because sometimes we like big knives. They're supposed to be heavy duty, even though they're made the exact same way as a small knife that would not be considered to be heavy duty. Let's talk about materials. Blade steel is D2 tool steel. We're not going to spend a lot of time on D2 tool steel. It is what it is. It is a semi-stainless, high-carbon tool steel. It's okay. It's pretty much par for the course within the budget realm, and it's basically gotten to be, D2 is like a knife enthusiast meme. There's got to be D2 memes out there. I just don't look for them, but it's like an inside joke now. It's just oversaturated, this market. For a handle, you are in titanium frame lock. It does have a hardened steel lock face insert. You have red G10 over that. You do have a milled titanium pocket clip, and you have a milled titanium backspacer. Very interesting construction as far as the handle goes. This pocket clip is mounted behind the handle scale. You can see the titanium backspacer has an extension beyond the frame, and you can ambidextrously mount this pocket clip. One downside to that is the base of the pocket clip is not in a milled recess. Really, the only centering that this pocket clip has is the groove in this G10, and we will take a very close look at that. Do you see how much space there is from the contact point of that pocket clip to the edge of this channel? There is plenty enough space in there for this to squirm, and it will if you want it to. Now, just regular carry, as long as you've got it tightened down, you use some Loctite on that screw, I think it's going to be okay. But I did want to mention that before I forgot it. There's just so much I've got to talk about in this review. We're large on all the hardware. It's T8. We do have hidden pivot screws. This knife, the pivot wanted to walk a little bit when I first got it. So I just threw a couple of rounds of Teflon tape on that hardware, and it is good to go. So there you go, materials. Pretty much standard fare for Twosun for a titanium frame lock with D2 blade steel. All right, let's get into fit and finish on this. This is one place that I will have nothing negative to say about this knife, is fit and finish. Listen very closely. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the manufacturing of this knife. Everything negative I have to say about it is a performance aspect that just falls badly based on some design decisions. So the fit and finish is absolutely perfect. As far as Twosun producing this knife, they have done it as well as you could ever expect at $55. So there's no issues with fit and finish as far as the blade goes. All the grinds are fantastic. This fuller is super deep and nice, and you would think you could use that to open the knife, but you can't because that's just there for looks. That's another design decision. Anyway, you've got some jimping up here. It's effective. I would like to see it a little more coarse, but it is effective. You've got a stone wash finish on this blade. The edge grind is good. It's consistent on both sides, so fit and finish there is fine. Your handle scales are finely machined. This is the weirdest G10 I've ever seen. It feels like plastic. If you look at the edge of G10, you should be able to see the fiberglass matting that is in G10. That's what G10 is. It's fiberglass and epoxy resin, or some kind of resin. So I think that I was thinking this is like a POM or something. It could be G10, and I'm not going to say that it's being misrepresented as G10. It's got a hard surface feel, so it doesn't feel like a soft plastic or anything. It could very well be G10. It's just got a lower fiber content. I don't know. But the fitting is absolutely perfect. It is boxed all the way around. It is boxed to the chamfer that's on this frame right here, the outside edge of it. And you can see that the scale is boxed to the edge of that chamfer. Everything, the fit and finish is very, very good. The surface finishing of everything is very consistent across the knife. It's got a bead blast stone wash finish on the titanium. It's a very consistent from part to part. It's not a bad looking knife at all, and I can find zero issues with the fit and finish. Now, I have had this knife totally disassembled. Let's take a look on the inside of it here. You can see some pocket milling for weight relief. It was heavy, but it's a big knife. It's got a 4.5-inch blade and right at 5mm blade stock thickness. Fit and finish I'm good for, or I'm good with. They did just the typical fantastic job that Twosun typically does. I've had a lot of these knives that I would consider to be budget knives from them come across my review table. They've all consistently been very good fit and finish wise. They very much have their game well in hand there. So, let's get into the bad stuff about this knife, because I don't really have that much good left to say about it beyond fit and finish. Usually the next thing we're going to get into is action. And this knife has good action if you are able to open it. It has some design issues. You see this thumb stud. Beautiful thumb stud, nice and big, wonderfully finished, just beautifully done, aesthetically attractive. It's terrible. It's terrible for a couple of different reasons. This thumb stud is mounted way back towards the handle. The reason for that is this secondary grind, they wanted, the designer, Wong, wanted that to be symmetric with the primary grind. So they have pushed this grind back, forcing the thumb stud to be this far back. I would not have done that, and I will show you why right now. In the closed position, look where that thumb stud is. It is very far forward towards the pivot. That makes it less efficient as a leverage point. It is less mechanically efficient because it is closer to the center point of the movement. It is less of a leverage point. It's forced to be that far forward, again, because of this secondary grind on the spine of the blade. Then, let's take a look at this. I hope I can get this in the camera. Look down, and I try to press the flesh of my thumb in between the handle scale and the top of that very polished, huge radius on the top edge of that thumb stud that makes it so beautiful, very attractive. But now I cannot get the flesh of my thumb, look at how white my thumb is, to get any flesh down in there. And then I'm rolling up on that huge radius. Guys, this damn thing is shit to open. If I get, and look at how hard I'm pressing down on that thumb stud. Okay? It's not because of anything except there's no access. There is no access between that handle scale and that thumb stud right there. It needs to be scalloped. Well, it can't be scalloped enough, probably, because the handle is so narrow there and it's so close to this hardware. To scallop this, you only have from the inside of this ridge line to the edge to scallop down. That means that scallop would have to be very, very steep. Now, that would help, but it would not be as aesthetically pleasing in this design language. Yeah, if you can't open the knife is no good for you. In a one-handed knife, you must be able to open it easily. Okay? Now, if you want to thumb flick this, because this thumb stud is so close to the pivot, the leverage point for a thumb flick is nearly straight out. Okay? I can't get on it enough like this. Oh, shit, dude. You're going to cut the shit out of yourself fucking around with this knife. I can't get down on it. What I've got to do is I've got to push my thumb in from this side. I've got to push it in and then scoop like this. To do that, I've got to do all this right here. That's part of that mechanical movement. While you're flipping this knife open and you have a live edge coming out. That's not safe. And then you think, oh, we got this big giant fuller here, but you can't get on the damn thing. You literally cannot get on it with your finger to reverse flick it. You cannot get in there. It is totally aesthetic and it is wasted. That is absolutely wasted. This is one of the worst opening knives I've ever seen in my life as far as the design of the knife itself. And I absolutely would not recommend this knife just for that reason. But we still got two other reasons. And before we go on to them, I want to say it is a damn shame this knife is not better designed as far as opening, because it has hands down one of the most awesome detents. The detent is so crisp. When you break the detent, you open it up to break the detent, listen. You hear that tick when you break that detent. Oh my God, that is so absolutely crisp and wonderful. If that thumb stud would have been a little further, where it came up to this part of the handle, increased the leverage, and gave you a little more clearance with a scallop there, this knife would have been so awesome to thumb flick. Oh my God, it would have been so awesome. What a damn shame. What a damn shame. So let's get down here to the handle. Bazon blades, what's wrong with the handle? Holy shit. Well, it's square. It's square like the grip on a Glock. In fact, it's even more square. I didn't actually think you could get more square. Literally. I think it was scientifically proven in a lab that you could not get more square than a Glock grip. But somehow, this design does it. It is broken through to the other side of what is possible in the physical realm. And it has an absolute square handle. Look at the back of this handle. Okay? Look down this handle. Look across the width, the thickness of this handle, and then look across the width. This handle is almost absolutely a square shape. It is narrow, and even though it is wasted a little here, it is very shallow. And this is a long handle. When you grip this, it just feels like gripping a damn square. And with those slick handle scales, and even though they are radiused on the edge, look down again. Look at how sharp that radius is. The corner is on this grip. It's absolutely square. It is so uncomfortable. It wants to twist in your hand with those slick scales, and they are very slick for G10. Let's look at the surface finish on this. Okay, there's nothing there. It's just a slickness, guys, and they're very, very slick. That's a damn shame right there. A nice coarse piece of micarta would help that, but it would still be totally freaking square. It's a square handle. That's not ergonomic at all. So you can't open it. When you do get it open, even though it's going to take 3 hands, you're going to have a buddy there to help you open the damn thing. Then it's uncomfortable in your hand. It is just not comfortable. So there's the second reason I absolutely do not recommend this knife. And the third reason is going to be a surprise. And that is that blade to handle ratio of 0.857. That is nearly 86 percentile blade to handle ratio. That is, I'm thinking that is absolutely the best I've ever measured on a folding knife. And there's 2 reasons for that. One is fantastic. One is fantastic, and one is a deal breaker for a lot of people. The first one, the fantastic one, is, let's open this thing up. I want you to look and see where the pivot is in relation to the end of the knife handle. The pivot is very, very close to the end of the knife handle, okay? That is a fantastic decision. It's a fantastic decision. And I like that a lot. I like that a lot. But they've also stuffed 4.5 inches of blade into that handle. So even though the pivot is very far forward and you're not losing a lot of blade length coming back to a pivot, they've stuffed that big long blade in there. Now look at how close the tip of the blade is to the end of the knife. Okay, I am going to just set my finger against it. I'm already touching the tip of the blade. I am already touching the tip of the blade. This is a tip-up pocket clip orientation, meaning this goes into your pocket like this, and that tip is always pointing up, and every time you stick your hand in that pocket with this on the outside of your pocket, you're going to go down there and you're going to be coming up against that tip. And I literally, with my pinky, as soon as I touch that, I can feel the tip. You go jamming your hand in your pocket and push some flesh down in there, you are going to cut the tip of your finger. I am typically not sensitive to this issue because I'm a grown-up adult. But this is absolutely ridiculous. It is not a safe knife to carry in your pocket. There you go. There you go. Literally. Blam. Right there. I just touch it and I'm automatically touching the tip of that. If I press down hard on that, it is piercing the tip of my finger right now into the callus on the tip of my finger. Okay, if I pull off to the side, it is going to cut all the way across the tip of my finger. Now, I've got sort of chunky fingers, and my fingers all have some callousing on the tip, even on my right hand from playing the guitar. So it's not a huge issue for me. But imagine somebody with smaller hands, more slender fingers, that doesn't have calluses on the tip of their fingers. They're liable to get stabbed and cut on the tip of their fingers or elsewhere. That's no bueno. That is no bueno right there. That's no good for you guys that don't know what bueno means. It's no good, guys. There is some decisions on this knife that when the first you look at them, you're like, holy shit. Like when I saw that blade to handle ratio, I was like, holy crap, I hadn't even measured it yet. And I was like, that is absolutely fantastic. And then I started looking closely at the knife, and then I carried it. Now, I've had this knife in hand for a month. I've carried this knife. It's absolutely just a train wreck of a design. It is absolutely a train wreck of a design, and most of the decisions are 100% based on looks. That is, I would like to say that it's something very hard to avoid, but it's not, because all of these knives are prototyped. And there is no way that somebody was knowledgeable about knives, looked at the prototype of this, saw how close that tip was to the end, and never even checked. I mean, right there, that is zero pressure. Look at the tip of my finger. It is red. I am not pushing down and pushing the blood out of the tip. I am just setting that and I'm pulling across, and it is cutting the tip of my finger. That is horrible. That is a horrible, horrible thing. There's no way I would buy this knife. I do not want any of you buying this knife. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to return this knife. I haven't spoken to Justin about it, and I'm not going to, because he didn't do anything wrong. He just sold it to me. I am not returning this knife because I don't ever want to see it in somebody else's hands. It's that bad of a design. What I am going to do is this. I am going to jig the handle up in my angle grinder jig, and I'm going to go and I'm going to radius grind a scallop here as much as I can. Like I say, I don't have much room there. It's going to have to be a very steep scallop. It's going to have to be through the scale and the frame itself. I will scallop all the way down to the far edge of the frame. I don't think that'll affect strength, but then again, I don't hard use folding knives anyway, but I think I'll be able to open it then, and maybe I'll be able to shit. Come on. I'm Baz on Blades. I can open any damn knife that's ever been made most of the time. But that's pretty tricky right there, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm not going to recommend this knife. So there you go. A very long video to not recommend a knife. And it's crazy because I've got another Twosun knife out here. That's the TS434, which is also highly styled. This is a night morning design. This is a fantastic knife because it did not sacrifice important aspects of the knife just to fit within the design language. It has it wears its design on its sleeve. I mean, you can see that. It's a very out there design, but everything about this knife is absolutely still ergonomic. It is a joy to open and close. The thumb stud is back far enough away from the pivot to be an actual usable leverage point, and the thumb stud style and the handle design work hand in hand. There you go, guys. It's a rocket ship opening it. I just shaved some of my thumbnail off there, guys. That's fantastic thumb studs on that knife. I've been carrying it for a while. I did an unboxing of it, and I've been carrying it. I need to do the final review on it. Spoiler alert, it's going to be awesome. So there we go. The Twosun TS434. This is actually the first Twosun product that I've ever gotten where I've absolutely just said no. Don't buy it. No, please do not buy this knife. Guys, don't. Okay, it looks good, but it has got some very serious design flaws. And for some people, I don't think it would even be a safe knife to carry. So there you go, the TS434. Not recommended, not going to recommend it, not going to pass it along to anybody. I'm going to modify the handle scale, and then I'm going to throw this in my toolbox because I will know how to handle this knife without fear of injury. So there you go. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my long-ass videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.